What's up, everybody? RTA's season is coming to an end in about a week and a half, and today we are going to take a look at some battles from some of the top, and I mean top, like the tippy top players in RTA. There's a reason that I'm on Kinky too, because some of them are using Kinky, because he is just so OP. I mean, he may as well be an LD5. That's how OP he is. First up, we have current rank number 2. True Whale actually was not in the top for most of the season. He shot up at he wasn't really doing RTA most of the season, and he shot up at the very end. He took, I think Diligent was rank 2 for a lot of the season, if I recall correctly, but he actually lets himself get, I mean, for the most part, attack power buff Ciara, but the Tian Lang cuts in. And he had the defense leader skill, even though he knew he was going to take an attack power buff Ciara. But I mean, this should not be much of a contest. Cleaving against True Whale, rank number 2. This shouldn't really be much of a... Well, I mean, it really shouldn't be much of a contest, but he's up against someone from G... I don't even know how he got paired... Well, actually, I do know how he got paired up against G1. It's just there wasn't anyone else matching up at the current time that he was queuing. There wasn't anyone else queuing, and he's like, okay, well, I guess maybe I'm Your Father might have been on a win streak, which probably just ended. Next match, same person. Let's play a game, guys. Let's play a game called Can You Count the LD? Can you count the LD Nat 5s? So, actually only 4 LD Nat 5s in this battle. It's amazing. It's amazing. There was a Nat 4 got in. There's 2 regular element Nat... Well, actually, 3 regular element Nat 5s. So, gets outsped. Well, it doesn't get outsped, because the Beast Rider outspeeds. Then cuts in with the Juno, gets the Strip, gets the Oblivion. 3 turn. Look at the silences, look at the Oblivions. That's pretty nasty. That's pretty nasty. Takes the bomb, but not an attack power buffed bomb. I mean, that's one way to counter True Whale, is to just have a bunch of LD5s yourself, like Isis and Dark Ryu, or Dark Striker, rather. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, but oh my god. I think that is such an underrated unit. Look at that. Even beat rank 2 as well. So, I was probably right about I'm Your Father being on a win streak at the time. But I think that's a very underrated unit, the Isis. The only issue with Isis is she doesn't really do any damage. She does the same second skill as Hathor, and then she does the third skill as the Silence and Oblivion. Fantastic skill. Super OP. If you guys have her, if any of you like early game players happen to pop an Isis, broken, crazy good unit for arena offense and TOA. TOA hard, whatever. Isis super OP. AoE Oblivion Silence, guys. Very, very strong unit for if you're struggling with anything in TOA hard. I say that because I know someone that had an Isis and was struggling in TOA hard. I'm like, you have an Isis. Like, yeah. I'm like, use your Isis. Now gets matched up against another actual G3 player, even though the fact is that they are still 800. This is how high he is. 800 points difference. And how to play is even higher than that. So, bans out, actually does not ban out, bans out the Praha on that side as well, and banned out the Fire Art Master. So, that's nasty comps on both sides, actually. And this Molong is not going to take any damage because, well, okay. So the Molong's not going to take any damage because of the invincibility, right? So he gets basically a free Reckless Assault. However, the Jaeger actually, skill 2, as you saw before, goes through. I mean, if he wasn't dead right now, the Jaeger would go through the Molong. Actually, I think we did see it for a second, right? So Guardian Angel gets a lot of defense breaks. Defense breaks? Defense breaks. You know what? I'm actually surprised. I didn't even mention, but I'm surprised to see Perna in here. Because Perna is generally not a thing that you really see. Does that mean I can use Perna some more? Perna is generally not a thing that you see, so... Like, I don't even remember the last time this season that I've even seen Perna being picked. And is being picked by rank 2. Interestingly enough. It's just a bruiser. It's just a... he's just using it as a bruiser. Another G3 versus G3, however, still 800 points difference. 800 points. So he picks the Feng Yan into the Tian Lang, which I guess signaled to him that he was going to ban the Tian Lang. Okay, because that would have been like Tian Lang's already a counter to Feng Yan. Feng Yan increased attack age. Tian Lang counters that attack age increase and then also does it himself. So takes the Beast Rider down into human form. I mean, she's always inhuman. It dismounts. Let's just say dismounts the Beast Rider, right? They don't have a ton of heals on the opponent's team right now. You just got to finish that Molong off. And the Jaeger can definitely take... yeah, he's noticing that as well. The Jaeger can definitely take down that Molong, right? So I feel the Jaeger is actually pretty... The Jaeger's pretty strong here. There's a lot of stuff pretty strong here, though. Right? So Molly, Jaeger, just the two of those, going to be fairly nasty. Yeah, just going to be fairly nasty. Traps the Leo. So one of the things is now the Fire Art Master. I think I might have mentioned this in a previous video. The Fire Art Master does the scroll time that the enemy scroll is actually based on the Fire Art Master's speed. So Leo's kind of a counter to the Fire Art Master, but I feel like that the Molly and Jaeger should definitely take care of the Leo and the Horus. Because remember, the Jaeger's second skill, the Fire Art Master strips, right? And then the Jaeger strips all the buffs from the Light Horus. And then the Jaeger's second skill just ignores the defense buff as it is. Next match, another G1. See, here's the thing, though. The last G3 that he fought against was like 2,100. This one is 1,990, almost 2,000 points. I don't know if he's going to get to these 2,000 points right now. Bans the Tyrant. Bans the Fort. There's an LD5 in there. There's a lot of other regular Nat 5s. Bans the Tyrant of all things, right? They banned the Ragdoll. He bans the Tyrant. He's like, I don't want to get frozen. I don't want to get attack gauge reduced. Of all the things he could have banned, right? And also the Light Druid, if you guys haven't been paying too much attention, the Light Druid actually got a lot more popular this season than he previously was. So, I'm just surprised to see the Tyrant. That anything could have got banned. The Light Druid could have got banned. The Ganny could have got banned. Anything could have got banned. He decides to ban the Tyrant. All that CC. I mean, the Light Druid does CC too. Although, the Ganny combo with a lot of different stuff is pretty nasty, though. So, I mean, it's already over at this point. As soon as the first unit went down, he's got so much stat value on these on his team that it's pretty much over pretty quickly. One of the things that I want to mention, though, is his opponent was G1, 1990, very close to 2,000. But the last opponent was like 21 and change. G3 versus G1. Very small, like what, 150 difference? Some around there, right? Less than 200 points difference. But there's an 800 point difference between True Whale and other G3s. I've been noticing a lot of weird point stuff going on lately. Just the fact that like there were so many people with so many points, like the number of points where you used to be in previous seasons, like that was definitely G3, that was definitely G2, that was definitely G1, and now it's like C3, C3, C3. I'm like, oh my god. This next player is currently rank number 4. I believe this is Diligence account. He just changed his name and profile picture, if I recall correctly. So goes up against. I feel like this is going to be very one-sided, but let's see how this does. So strips everything, almost kills the Fran. Almost just completely dominates the Fran. That was against the G2. That was not a Fighter 3 player, guys. It was very one-sided immediately. As a G2 player, that is the G2 player. Matches up against him again. Let's see if this battle goes any differently. Okay. So he's going for... Okay, so that's actually a fairly common... Usually you see Lulu in these comps that that the opponent is running. But that's kind of a fairly common thing to see the Fire Bison and the Molong, the 2 HP leader skills. And usually you see those with with some passives, some cleanses. Molly, Annabelle, Lulu as well. Sometimes you see a Chroma. There was someone using the Fire Panda Warrior as well. So, gonna almost kill the... Look at all the stats that he has on that Dark Ninja, right? So it's already 4-3. If this was anyone else, I'd be like, oh, they have a big advantage, but it's not anyone else, right? So, and I do think this is actually Diligence account. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to see the comment section. Well, Bagel, hold on. Let me tell you everything that you're wrong about in the entire everything that you've done since you've started YouTube. Lols. So that's actually stacking Jaeger, though. Some of those hits were actually stacking Jaeger. So he does have Holy Ground. The Holy Ground is so nasty now. So nasty. He only had the strip with the Mo Long. So this is why I said, like, even though it's 4-3, that's not necessarily over when you're fighting against someone like this in the top. He's currently ranked, like I said, he's currently ranked 4. So defense breaks, and then as soon as Jaeger gets a turn, game over, right? Or just Holy Ground again, just to add insult to injury. And again, G2 player. I mean, they did take out one of his units, though, so give him credit for that. Next battle, Gianna Ragdoll. First couple picks into a double Art Master and a Ciara. Again, G3 versus G3. However, 750 point discrepancy. That's a lot. That's a lot of points. Is that a Swiss flag also? I think that might be a Switzerland flag. Okay, gets the strip. So that's a super fast Savannah. Gets the strip and the skill reset. Doesn't get a strip with the Art Master. Doesn't get. I mean, it's not 100% chance to strip as it is, but doesn't get the strip. Like, doesn't get on anyone. I feel like Stonks has I feel like Stonks has my RNG. So Ragdoll needs 1 dot to kill it. Oh, he has a dot on it. So as soon as he gets a turn, he's not going to die. Is what I was going to say because. Oh, actually, he had ignore defense too. He had his torrent passive activated as well. So he did a lot of damage, but just got reset on the invincibility immunity. All right, and then the first unit was down. It wasn't completely in the bag, but it was pretty nasty. It is a bloodbath every single time. So one of the things that we're noticing is he's picking that Fire Art Master very aggressively. His opponent picks the Water Striker into the, and also doesn't ban the LD5s, bans the Fire Art Master, super OP unit, right? So he picks the Water Striker into the Water Okeanos. No, he picked it's the Fire Okeanos, not the Water Okeanos. Again, we're seeing he's going really heavy on this this Light Lightning Emperor, not Lightning Emperor, the Light Sea Emperor. He's going very heavy on this Light Sea Emperor. He's become way more popular now than he used to be. Haven't really seen too much of the Dark Sea Emperor though. So that is a fairly it looks like a fairly it's a fairly tanky Moor. So let's see, Rain of Stones, and he's got the Lulu. Lulu's been very popular in high level already. Lulu and also Mo Long. He did get some strips, but he also does get Holy Ground again. This Holy Ground with Ganymede combination of just like infinite invincibility forever is pretty nasty. They don't have any heals on their team, but basically infinite invincibility. So he did enough damage to just take out the Savannah there. That's pretty, it's pretty beastly. And he just conceded from there. He just conceded. He didn't really have, I mean, he still has the damage from the Ragdoll, but looked like he was just going to not have enough damage. Again, the Gani and the Sea Emperor, nasty combination of like infinite, basically almost infinite invincibility immunity, but I guess still felt like he had too much damage on the other side that he really couldn't come back from that, I guess. Next battle, he's got the Fire Art Master banned out from him, so and also the Light Lightning Emperor and the Ganon. Oh, they've been studying him. So they've been studying and they're picking the things that he has been picking and would be picking, right? So he goes in with the Gianna, he goes in with the Gianna Ragdoll, Han, lols. Savannah, he loves Savannah. This is actually very similar to, like, if I had a Gianna, I would run this without the Ragdoll, but I would run that kind of comp. Of just Gianna, Ragdoll, Savannah. He didn't pick the Fire Art Master yet. Opponent picked the Fire Art Master. Whatever else he picked last was probably another LD5 that I just forgot about. Was scarred from. Another G3, but again, 700 point difference here. 700 point difference. So they go with a double Fairy King Oki Moore. So they're going with a very aggressive control comp. However, there's not, if he has enough, well, he's already outspeeds, but if he had enough tankiness and survivability, he could still have just played a turn 2 kind of bruiser comp, because they don't, if you take a look, they don't actually have, the only defense breaker was the Ethna. So he banned out the Ethna, which was the defense break, and then he didn't have to worry about the, well, he still outsped anyway, regardless. He still outsped. He had the speed lead. He also had the super fast, Dark Pioneer has a super fast base speed. So it's really hard to outspeed the Dark Pioneer. Kind of similar to Triton, but I feel like the Dark Pioneer is just a stronger version of Triton. Triton doesn't really do isn't really much of a threat. He's got the CC, he's got the silence, but he's not much of a threat. So he does have the potential here to do like this nasty combination. Well, never mind. I was gonna say a nasty combination. If he had the skills up, the opponent could have still Genny Oki'd, and if Oki had enough additional damage from artifacts, he could have done some damage, but yeah, really wasn't enough. And 4v2, I mean, it's kind of hard to come back from a 4v. It's almost impossible, unless this was like last season and you had a Miho. Next match, another 750 point discrepancy. Both G3, 750 points away. So the opponent goes for a Water Ryu first pick, and then he's like, I'm not going to outspeed and control. He switches the gameplay style to a Bruiser style of team. So also, I'm kind of rooting for Aurora Poopy, not going to lie. I like that he picked the Leica, actually. But I'm kind of rooting for Aurora Poopy because, you know, Poopy, and I'm 5 years old. So of course I have to root for Poopy. And if you name yourself Poopy, and I fight you in RTA, I'll just concede to you. I'll just be like, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I don't even feel bad. All right. So I'm kind of curious to see the runes on these Hans, right? Because we're seeing some. So that was definitely a despair on the Art Master, not the Art Master, the Water Striker, the Moor, right? Because he's stunned with skill 1. So I'm kind of curious to see the amount of tankiness. I mean, I assume just fast tanky bruiser, but I mean compared to my Dark Ninja, for example, I definitely go a little bit more on the aggressive side with the Ninja. He's going for the bruiser side. And actually, the Dark Ninja is an HP type unit, so it does make sense for him to be for him to be kind of a bruiser, right? Turn cycles a decent amount. I was going to say some counters. I was going to tell you guys some counters. Like, some counters to the Dark Ninja, or I'm like, no. I didn't finish with RTA this season. You don't need to know counters to the Dark Ninja. Shh. You don't need to know. Don't worry about the counters to the Dark Ninja. Don't worry about it. He can't be countered, guys. He can't. Impossible. Impossible. Next match, again, another 700-point difference. Massive difference, right? So opponent is trying to outspeed and actually doing a Zerath Cleave. Zerath Cleave with, okay, she's got the speed lead in there. He strips everything, however, gets cut by the Gianna. And Gianna stuns almost everything. And then just gets obliterated now. Yep. Gets obliterated. The only way he can't really come back from that, never mind. I was going to say the only way he can come back, I'm like, nah. See, this is the wonderful thing about having just an abundance of LD5s at your disposal. Is just like whatever the situation calls for you. Like, you know you have the LD unit. You know you have the LD unit for the... These accounts are so ridiculous. The accounts that we're seeing today just have so much nonsense on them. Another G3 and another 700-point difference. So, the interesting thing about Jis, their opponent, is Jis actually likes to play a very counter-oriented gameplay style. I've noticed this from Jis's replays, that Jis likes to wait and see what his opponent is going to do, and then pick accordingly to that, instead of being like, this is the comp that I always like to use. Just as like, no, I'm going to take a lot of things with passives, and I'm going to play turn 2, and very comfortable playing turn 2, and using things like Tetra, Vertiheel, Leo to counter the opponent's Juno. A lot of passives in the gameplay style. So that's just something that I noticed from Jis's gameplay in the past. So got some increased attack gauge, and got some dying, right? Didn't actually take down the Savannah, so the Leo Vertiheel combination is potentially very nasty for turn cycling, especially Leo Vertiheel Ragdoll together is very nasty for turn cycling on a team. However, that's only nasty if you have the units to support it. They just got they had just too many units taken out too quickly from their side that they couldn't really recover enough to get that turn cycling shenanigans going on. Now we're back to Truel, and his opponent actually is somewhere between rank, because it's 2364, that's somewhere between rank 25 and 30 on the leaderboards. Picks Chloe, second pick. Chloe. Bans the Sea Emperor. Bans the Sea Emperor. I can't believe he let the Chloe through, right? So that is a Swift, I was going to say Swift Striker, Swift Water Striker. Chloe actually buffed. She didn't used to do a 3-turn immunity. She used to do a 2-turn immunity. So she was buffed. I believe she also does a stronger skill 2 heal. And I think she does stronger skill 1 as well. I think there might have been 2 different balance patches that they buffed Chloe. I'm not sure they could have been the same balance patch, but Chloe was buffed. If you guys are coming back to the game from being gone for a couple of years, Chloe definitely was buffed in the past, like, year. And I believe it's all 3 of her skills, actually. Definitely her 3rd skill, and yeah, I'm pretty positive it's her 1st, 2nd, and 3rd skills were all buffed. So, still does have the Gani Oki combination. Is he able to Chloe his way out of this? That's what I really want to know. Increased cool time. That's not what we wanted. Chloe couldn't one-shot. All right. He actually dismounts, which is huge, which means he does not have any defense breaks anymore. All right, resistance. He had the glancing on, so he gets resisted. Decrease attack age a little bit. Kills him. And now he just has... I think Chloe's going to solo this, guys. I think Chloe's going to solo this, yeah. Look at that Phil. Look at that lovely Chloe Phil. Is he going to be able to... He's going to Chloe his way out of this. You guys feel it too, right? He's going to Chloe his way out of this. This is going to be amazing. Can we see a Chloe win? This is fantastic. I mean, Fnatic. Are we going to actually see a Chloe? Because Chloe, even if Chloe... Oh, not if she gets crit on. So Chloe... Additional turn. Chloe heals with skill 1. There's no... That's GG. That's GG. We see a Chloe win, guys. We see a Chloe win. This is amazing. I love this. I love this. We actually see a Chloe win. Violent Proc and Chloe. There's nothing Ganymede can... Dude, what is he still... He's just pissed off that he lost to a Chloe. He's like, I'm not gonna go down like this. I'm not gonna go down like this. There's nothing he can do, though. Chloe's got element advantage. He can additional turn all he wants, but Chloe's got element advantage and heals with skill 1. He's still going for it. He's still like, I am not gonna lose to a Chloe. Chloe OP, guys. But here's the thing. Chloe is similar to how people are using the Light Sea Emperor. She's very similar to that. She does invincibility, she does immunity. She does a heal too, and she does no silence. So not quite the same, but similar-ish. So we're going to take a brief detour. This guy is currently rank 24 that we're going to take a look at. He's the one that was using Chloe in the other battles. I just thought it'd be nice to see some Chloe, some Kinky. How to play is using Kinky, which we'll see in a little bit. But you guys could skip past if you guys are only want to see the top some of the top 5 players. We're not going to see all the top 5 players, but if you guys are only interested in the very, 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 very top, and you're like rank 24, that's garbage, then you can always skip forward. But I think rank 24 using Chloe, very excited to see this personally, so we're going to see this. But again, you guys can skip forward if you want. Whatever, you guys like, I only want to see the people that are going to be in the Legend tournament, right? So he basically, he just did that for the turn cycling to get more access to his skill 3 sooner rather than later. That's why the Fire Art Master did that. So now, he puts the... gets the resistance anyway. I was going to say he puts the bomb on the Fire Art Master and doesn't even have to detonate, but he did go for the detonate anyway. So I'm sure he just did that for the extra damage. It's just funny to see Chloe. But here's the thing. The reason that he's using Chloe is, again, because in the same place that people are using the Light Sea Emperor, he doesn't have a Light Sea Emperor, so he's like, I'll use I have a Chloe. I'm gonna use a Chloe, but the Chloe is on Violent as well. So lots of access to the immunity and invincibility and heals. You also, Chloe's a fantastic combination with Mo Long as well. So you get you basically no downside, right? No downside. So we're gonna see 2 more from this guy. I thought this one was nice because he's using, Ciara Oki. Not everyone has Ciara Oki, but he is going against. First off, he's going against a Gani Hathor, and he has a Kinky and a Hey Gang, which is not something... Oh, he also gets that's a super fast Hey Gang. But he did ban the Vanessa speed lead, so he needed to make sure that he was going to go before the Gianna on there, right? So now, passive comes into play, gets the Blade Slaughter, because the Hey Gang's passive, when something gets stripped and then gets debuffed, it cleanses the debuff and it increases their attack gauge. So Hey Gang is already a nice counter to the Gianna there. So if he has the Hey Gang in, he doesn't really have to worry about banning the Gianna in that instance. That's one of the reasons that Hey Gang has gotten so popular, is because it's a nice counter to Gianna. It's a nice counter to other things, not just Gianna, but it is a nice counter to Gianna. That is a fantastic counter to Gianna. Another Chloe pick. I had to throw it in there, right? A Chloe and a Kinky. So we're seeing this left hand side does not really look like a crazy G3 comp. There's not like a lot of LD5s. There was an LD4, then there was a Molong, a Ciara, a Moore, and a Chloe. It's not that intimidating. Goes up against a Gani Hathor Oki combination, super nasty. They didn't have the strips though. They had one stripper speed lead, and if that doesn't make it through, then they have this crazy lockdown combination, but they still have the Chloe 3-turn immunity in there, and they really can't do the crazy lockdown. So I feel like this was a little bit of a preemptive concede, but it's still interesting. Also, another thing is that we didn't see too much Hathor throughout the whole season. I mean, here and there we saw a little bit. And then during the last part of the season, like, we're seeing a lot more Hathor use. That's what I've noticed. I don't know if anyone else has noticed the same thing, but Oki has been just very strong because of additional damage from artifacts. Hathor kind of fell out of meta because of that additional damage, and then Juno is extra strong because of additional damage from artifacts. So things like Oki and Juno, that kind of nerfs the Hathor, or that has nerfed the Hathor. And she has no damage. Like Oki is a damage threat. Even if your enemy has immunity, Oki still does all those hits. He still does all this extra additional damage, which can kill things, right? Even like it basically ignores defense. It's pure damage. So Hathor doesn't really have that. That's why Oki has become more of a thing. Now on to rank number 1, How to Play. And How to Play has been aggressively picking this Nephthys Han stuff lately. Nephthys Han a lot of times also pick the Dark Pioneer. I usually don't see How to Play picking the Artemiel too much. Kinky though, definitely picking a lot of Kinky. So against the Tiana Ciara. Okay, we usually don't see Tiana Juno Ciara. That's weird. Honestly, that's weird. Kinky's gonna come in. He's gonna revenge. Artemiel's gonna revenge too. That's gonna defense break and stun. This is already over. Like at the beginning of the match, this is already over. All he has to do is kill the Ciara, and then they have no threat, really, or rather, not enough of a threat to even take care of this Artemiel and the Artemiel and the Kinky. I mean, he may as well just have the Artemiel and the Kinky, and they could have finished off everything. Basically everything. Like, this is just overkill. He didn't even need all this stuff. He really, like, this is How to Play is just, like, may as well have just walked. I know I'm being a jerk, but How to Play could have just walked away from that fight and just, like, come back with a victory screen. Because that's how much they won in the pick ban phase already. Did you guys notice that last match was 1,100 points difference? 1,100 points. 1,100. Esports, guys. Esports. So full LD5, well, aside from Kinky. But Kinky's basically an LD5, right? So How to Play is just like LD5, 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 right? Which is how to Play is always played for the most part. Well, every so often picking like 1 or 2 regular element Nat 5s in there as well, right? Just so much stats on these runes. Oh my god, I mean, here's the thing. All these accounts are super expensive. All these accounts are like Lamborghini level expensive. So the ones that we're seeing today. Well, actually, not the rank 24. The rank 24 one is not. I don't know how much they spent on it. But How to Play, True Whale, and I believe that's actually Diligent. Super crazy expensive accounts. So another 1,000-point discrepancy, even though they're G3 as well. G3 as well, 1,000-point discrepancy. So goes in with a Fire Slayer, double Art Masters, Ashir, and Ciara. And How to Play is just like LD5s, just whatever, LD5. So outspeeds with the Ashir. Ashir's got a super fast base speed. That's what people pick on Ashir, is to contest the turn 1, right? Goes in, didn't get the CC on the Nephthys with the, now her passive is not what it used to be. So he just happened to resist the CC with the bomb and also with the Fire Slayer skill 3. So that wasn't necessarily guaranteed to happen because Nephthys used to be immune to CC. She's not immune to CC anymore. But yeah, that was a pretty fast win. As soon as the Light Sea Emperor came in and did his skill 3, there was very little. Ashir still had a skill 3 that he could have done. But the Art Master already used his skill 2 into the Fire Slayer, so he couldn't do any of that again. So Ashir just had one strip, and then aside from that one strip, there was really not too much that they could have done after that with the units that needed that availability for the debuffs. Next battle, How to Play comes in with the same first 3 picks, very, very consistent throughout the whole, or first 4 picks even. Bans out the Kinky. All these LD5s are getting through, and then the Kinky is getting banned. You see these, this is a thing, the Kinky gets banned. Okay, strips an attack age decrease, comes in with a Fire Art Master, puts the Nephthys in a scroll, and now he's got attack power buff and speed buff. He does get silence there, though. He does get silenced. He's going to kill that Water Ryu. He goes in with the glancing hits. Now he's just got to do... I mean, he doesn't have any defense breaks on the opponent's side, right? Doesn't have any defense breaks. However, if we take a look at what just happened there, the interaction with the Dark Pioneer skill 2 into what happened with Samoth is that was that Hey Gang passive coming into effect right there, right? So Samoth comes back. He does actually decent enough damage that the Triton is almost dead. The Han is dead. Still got a little bit more damage that he's got to do. However, let's see what Violent procs. Let's see what doesn't Violent proc. Well, there's not everything is on Violent, right? Actually, nothing is on Violent, is it? Because the Art Master is on Swift. He gets an additional turn with skill 2 after his skill, but I think he's on Swift, actually. Gets a stun, and of course that's on Despair. It's typically on Despair. So this is actually G2 beating How to Play. There's over 1,000-point discrepancy there. So that was a decent amount of, I want to say a decent amount of points that How to Play lost. Not that many, but I think How to Play can kind of afford to lose those, seeing how far they are above everything else. Like everyone else. It's just shocking to see rank 1 actually lose. Doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's crazy to see. Nephthys first pick as usual into a double Art Master, Water Ryu, and several speed leads. 3 speed leads and double Art Master. Can I just do that and have that actually work? That sounds like a fun time. Okay, gets resisted. Generally, people built him with a lot of resistance, so it's not really that shocking to see that get resisted. However, he does not get the Nephthys. So he gets a lot of skill cooldowns, he gets a lot of attack age decrease, but he does not get the Nephthys there. Gets the Serenity, but doesn't get the debuffs. He has a glancing on him, though. All those hits were not able to take that Han out. And Han is not ruined with... Did they just concede, or are we not seeing the whole match? I feel like too many of these people are conceding too fast. Maybe they're just scared. They're like, I don't want... You can win. You're going to win anyway. I'm not too worried about it. I'll just let you win. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of these Hans where usually, again, I like to rune Han. Kind of not that squishy. But they have the Han runed tankier than I personally have him. I like to do more damage. You see, this is another 1,100 point discrepancy. They do pick out the Wunsa from How to Play. How to Play does not have access to that Wunsa. Bans out the Kinky. Look at this. 4 LD5s still in the match. Kinky is so strong that is what's banned out. So this Leona's shield is going to be kind of annoying. He still gets all these debuffs on the opponent. But the Leona... Oh, there we go. I don't know why I'm excited to say... Oh, a Violent proc. I've never seen one of those. The Leona shield is going to be fairly annoying, though. Right? It's just like if you don't have... I mean, they have the block beneficial effects with that Wunsa, but a lot of times... Leona, very similar to the Kinky, a lot of people are running super high resistance on her, right? For the same reason, people... a lot of passive units, people like to run very high resistance on. Like, for example, the Light Lich generally has 100% resistance because you don't want to strip that invincibility, and then it's you want him to be as annoying as humanly possible, right? People like taking notes. They're like, I'm taking notes for my arena defense. Make the Light Lich as annoying as humanly possible. Or you could just not put him on defense. But yes, make him as annoying as humanly possible. Here's a nice one. Shizzy is actually rank 20 right now. So Shizzy is going for a very fast comp. There's 3 different speed leads. Only one is just dark. But he's going for the outspeed. He can't really strip... he can strip the Ashir, right? But he did ban the Han from How to Play using him by just picking him, right? So banned out one of their core units that they like to use on a regular basis. But Han basically for the fact that How to Play loves to use the Wunsa and loves to use the Gianna. Well, hasn't been using actually the Gianna as much this season because of Hey Gang. But generally has used, more so in previous seasons, has been very heavy Gianna users. So Han, Gianna, super fast Wunsa, and that's why they like to pick. That's why How to Play likes to pick Han as much as possible, right? A consistent pick, right? And also Han turn cycles. He does defense breaks. He does stuns. He's cool because he's a ninja. I may have different requirements in the units that I like than other people. He's a ninja, and that's why I like him. But is he effective? But he's a ninja, and that's why I like him. Is that why I use him, Becca? Yes, I don't use him because he's good. I use him because he's a ninja. Very important things, guys. Next battle, Shizzy again. Shizzy goes for the Water Ryu first pick instead of trying to ban out. They also have the Gianna as well. So they have Han Gianna, and they didn't pick Han Gianna. Well, that's because they was split. One took Han, one took Gianna, and then this time it's the opposite way around. So Water Ryu, one of the nice things about Water Ryu countering anything that does an AoE strip is that he gets a turn. He increases attack gauge when that happens. Additional turn, that was huge, right? Additional turn, both very huge. Turn the tide of battle twice. The Oki additional turn and then the Monkey additional turn. And some more additional turns. Didn't kill though, but it's basically, Oki's basically down. So Samoth is still going to come back from the dead, but aside from that, this is basically over, right? Two super nasty, super OP players. Additional turn happens and then additional turn happens. So it would have been a different case if additional turns didn't happen. We would have seen a different match. But that's how it always is. We would always see a different case, a different match if additional turns didn't happen, right? Welcome to Summoner's War. This next player is rank 7, so we're seeing it at 2,700 points. Still 400 away from How to Play. Rank 7, rank 1, 400 difference, right? So bans out the Ciara, leaves the Akroma in. So between the Akroma, the Juno passive, the Kinky, which is going to be nasty, this is going to be pretty nasty for How to Play, because Akroma is going to just do Akroma things, right? Kinky's going to, well, Kinky can't really do anything to the Nephthys, right? So Kinky's still going to get CC'd. However, this Akroma gets a silence on the Monkey as well. So let's see, does Yen Hong Violent proc? Is the real question. She does not Violent proc, because she could Violent proc, and she could increase, oh, nice. So it's 3-on-3 as a fairly even fight so far, right? Gets the silence. Additional turn with the Akroma. So this is looking pretty nasty for How to Play right now. Again, a lot of passives counter these very fast, very aggressive control teams. If they lack a little bit on the damage side, even if they don't lack a little bit on the damage side, passives generally are the things that counter them, right? So they went for the Nephthys last. The reason they went for the Nephthys last is that Nephthys was going to, anytime Nephthys does the AoE, he's going to put a bunch of stuff on Juno. As soon as Juno gets a turn, cleanse, full heal, right? So Juno's a very strong counter to Nephthys, Juno, and then with the Water Mermaid, Veramos is another counter to that. Cleansers in general, Lulu is good against Nephthys. I mean, there's a certain point where it's like Lulu is good against Nephthys. It's like a lot of these things are good against Nephthys unless you come in and Nephthys into some big damage, attack gauge reduction, which doesn't even give their passives turns to activate. So Akroma's also good against Nephthys, guys. If you couldn't tell from the battle, Akroma's good against Nephthys. But this is actually How to Play. The crazy loses one, but against a rank 7. But How to Play doesn't really lose, so we actually get to see some of the things that are effective against the rank 1 player right now. Speaking of Tetra, we're about to see something ridiculous. So comes in with some LD5s and a Kinky, which is basically also an LD5. And remember how I was saying the Tetra counters Nephthys? Well, he picks Tetra. And then also Tetra gets banned. The LD5s stay in. Tetra gets banned. Also, you take a look at that Draco. Take a look at the Nemesis on Draco, right? If you weren't paying attention. So, Draco cuts in, increases attack gauge. That's kind of a thing. People have been doing a lot of Nemesis this season. Like double Nemesis Will, double Revenge Will on Vertiheal, things like that. So, as soon as the Sea Emperor gets a turn, he's going to be able to do skill 3 and come back from this. Or not. Or get silenced, right? Gets silenced, gets additional turn, Holy Ground. Okay. So now he can strip some more. actually gets stripped. Okay, so all that stuff gets stripped. Touch of Seduction. Does she Violent proc? She does not Violent proc. Gets a little bit of damage onto Nephthys. Nephthys goes down. It is 4-2 though. So, yeah, G3 versus G3. However, not all G3s are created equal, and that Light Sea Emperor has been a thing this season. I mean, you see the Light Sea Emperor has been a thing, and then the Tetra of all things, the Tetra gets banned. Another one, almost 1,000 points. I mean, all of them are basically almost 1,000 points difference at this point, right? So they have 2 speed leads, they have 2 strips, they have multiple sources of defense break and threats, but they're just going for outspeed. So passives are very strong against, they ban the Asima, right? But passives are generally strong against a team that the opponent's going to be using, just passives overall, right? So does some skill cooldown resets, does a bunch of debuffs with the Fire Druid, and then comes in with the Lulu, does Lulu Violent proc. Lulu generally also is another one that has very high resistance. So he's going for the Lulu first because she's very annoying. I like to hit Lulu first too because Lulu's very annoying, right? So then bans this, or not bans, he takes out the sustain from the enemy team, right? From How to Play's team. But interestingly enough, How to Play, all these LD5s, picks Lulu. Lulu's a strong unit this season, right? Which we know. It's not, How to Play is not the only one picking Lulu. So, this Light Onimusha. By the way, if you guys are not familiar with the Light Onimusha doesn't crit, and also doesn't get crit on. And when the enemy does a little bit of damage to hit the Light Onimusha, then the Light Onimusha will revenge, right? So revenge, defense break, and heal. Also, a lot of times the Light Onimusha is built with high resistance and on despair. So just a little bit of a recap into the Light Onimusha, but very strong against AoEs, very strong against things that do just little bits of damage here and there and not just like big one-shot kills. There are some counters to Light Onimusha though. One of them is, like the easiest counters is like Kaki, the Fire Onimusha, or other Onimushas in general are strong against that because they don't crit anyway. So half the Light Onimusha passive is just completely irrelevant. And then also they do big damage so that the Light Onimusha's passive doesn't, where he revenges or whatever, doesn't really come into play too much. And then also the Fire Mage is another one that's really strong against the Light Onimusha because the Fire... And also Bombs and Molong are also strong against it. But just things that don't have to worry about critting or doing little bits of damage at the same time. Those are generally the stronger things against the Kinky. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Super long-winded video. I know. I have no idea how long the video ultimately is going to be. I know I've been recording for a very, very long time. But I just wanted to show you guys so many different battles from... we got to see rank 1, rank 2, rank 4, rank 7, rank 20, and rank 24. Unless I didn't... Maybe I didn't post... Maybe I didn't include some of those. I don't know. But we should have seen... Did we see all of those? Hopefully they all made it into the final video. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys a lot of different high-level gameplay from not even the G3, but like some of the top G3 players and how they're playing and what they're doing. But anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you as always in the next one.